You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order and we'll start with the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Lyle Widener,
Yes.
go ahead.
I have something here for you. This is gonna probably be something that, you haven't run into before. You might have to, take this in and digest it and see what happened. The police responded to this call and they were actually sort of at a loss of how to handle this.
Okay.
So basically what happened on June 12th, I was out in my yard, mowing my grass, and my neighbor, who is running a bee selling operation, his bees, hundreds of them, attacked me. I have witnesses that, said that they couldn't even see my face. That's how many bees are on me. I was stung well over 100 times. I was running into the house to get away from this and killed about 30 of them in my house that followed me in when I had. My neighbor came over to check because, he had observed what had happened. He turned around and got stung about 20 times. My son got stung about 30 times. It was, an experience that was over the top. It was just absolutely unbelievable. My neighbor called the ambulance, sent me to the hospital. I have pictures of me in the hospital. I had to be treated. I mean, it was very serious. This guy is, raising these bees, and I looked up your ordinance, and your ordinance says that they have to be 10 feet off the ground. I have pictures showing that they're like 2 feet off my property line. The police asked him to move them, and when asked to move them, he questioned them as to how she knew that they were his bees. And I guess she responded with, are you kidding me? I can clearly see, what's going on here. About a week and a half later, he did, in fact, move them. I haven't heard anything from him. He's never approached me. The only thing I'm going to say is if my dog, would have went over and bit him, the first thing I'd have done is I'd have been over there, offering, to pay his medical bills and find out if he's okay. I haven't heard a thing, not to this day. This situation there's more to it than that, but I mean, my question is, first of all, does he have the permits that he's supposed to have to run this? With the state, the Department of Agriculture, with you here in Richmond Township. And I mean, he wasn't abiding, by the bee verbiage, in your code. The police asked him to move them after a week and a half. He moved the ones that attacked me. So they did get moved about a week and a half later.
Where did he move?
I don't know.
They're off his property as far as you know?
I don't know if they're off his property or not. I have videos of him hauling them away on a hand truck, but as far as, I could see from my property after that, I have mean, I have videos of the bees, how they swarm. I have videos and pictures of where they were located so that it's obvious that they were not 10 feet off the property line. But I mean, even 10 feet, I mean, my neighbor, you know, who's here, I mean, her husband's allergic. If he had got stung 100 times, he'd be dead. And I mean, you know, I understand, you know, I mean, I grew up in this township my entire life. And I understand about farming, and I'm for it, and I'm for bees and everything like that. But I mean, there has to be something that can be done, you know, to ensure the safety. I mean, I should have the right to be able to walk out in my own yard without having to worry about something like this happening. This has happened like 3 times before, but the other times it was, you know, got stung 10 times or something. You know what I mean? I mean, it irritated me. But this put me in the hospital, and this was over the top. I mean, I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
I've never heard anything like this around here. I didn't even know it was keeping bees.
And there's a difference. My dad raised bees. We live on the other side. We're on Lenhart Road. He has let that property deteriorate. The bees that are there that stung him are not nurtured honeybees. They are wild honeybees. And so hence they will attack. If you're in something dark, they think you're a bear or a skunk. They think you're some sort of animal. And when he removed them that day, he was full suited. He did not smoke the bees. And I know that because I could see it. I could see that backyard mess, and they are abandoned boxes laying all over. God knows what he has in that 2-story building. He has all kinds of chemicals and stuff because he does restoration of canoes. And it's just getting worse. He's not taking care of that property, and I am concerned for not just us and my husband, who has stage 4 cancer, but the fact that there's little kids that walk on that road. If you're doing work on that road and those bees have not been removed, if you see the back of it, you can see they're just stacked boxes, abandoned ones. So those bees they're angry, and anything's going to make them attack you. Even a week afterwards, they were still coming on my porch, and they weren't the usual honeybees. Usually a honeybee will just buzz around you, and you know, if they smell sugar or honey in your coffee. These bees come at you and hit you in the face. If I'm hanging washout, I am only 20 feet from his house when I'm hanging my washout. And this nice gentleman did not mention he had just been in the hospital for surgery that was stung 100 times. I'm done.
Yeah, that's not an exaggeration. My son was also on the property. He was probably stung about 25, 30 times. And my neighbor across the street, who came over to check on me when he saw this incident occur, immediately saw that, you know, the sweat was pouring off of me and I was dizzy and not feeling, you know, well at all. And he said, "I'm calling the ambulance. You're going to the hospital. You don't look good." I'm not allergic, but how much, how much can you take? I mean, it was excessive. I mean, I have pictures, I was red from head to tail, you know, from all those things that happened. I mean, they came out of nowhere and they were on me. I couldn't even see to run away. They were just covering me.
So he collects honey, or
He has a website and he claims, I guess, to sell honey. He also claims, I guess his big business is, he claims to sell what you would call a beekeeper's starter package. So if you want to get into the bee, business yourself, or you want to have bees for honey and just to have them on your property, you go to him and he sets you up with a starter package of, bees. They call them nukes, to do this. And he sells these, these starter packages, I guess, to people who are looking to, start that as a hobby or whatever they're doing with that. But my question is, I mean, is he inspected to do this? I mean, does he have their permits to run this? I mean, this is an R2 zoning district, so, I mean, again, agriculture is allowed, I guess this is considered agriculture, but, I guess my thing is, that I was asking is, looking at, your code, I mean, is 10 feet really safe? He wasn't abiding by it anyway, but is 10 feet really safe?
Jeff, what's your thoughts on the zoning?
Well, it was, first of all, I have no idea how long this property has had bees. I know as long as I'm coming to Richmond, which is,
2006, he moved in.
okay.
Not to interrupt you, sir.
No, I appreciate that. I know that since I'm here 2011 and 12, I know that he has had bees there. I remember early on, I had a conversation with him. He was selling honey at the time, but it was an established use. I've never really had any dealings with the man. I think there were some maintenance issues that were reported years ago. I'm talking probably at least 10 years ago that I had that conversation with him. It's kind of a difficult situation as far as from a zoning perspective. If it's no different, I guess, than somebody has a dog that's vicious, which you had mentioned, and would attack you. What do you do in that type of situation? So it's kind of a very gray area, I would think, from a zoning perspective. Does he have any permits from the township? Not that I'm aware of, but again, it was something that was started before I came on the scene here. I was not aware of any. We've never had any complaints about the bees, so we typically wouldn't go onto his property or talk to him about it unless we received a complaint. Now, we're aware of this situation. Jed made us aware of it when it occurred. I'm willing to, Chris, if you have any thoughts on it,
Well, this is the first time that this kind of an issue has been brought to my attention, so I don't have any kind of prior experience. But I would think that in evaluating this, it doesn't sound like they're pets to me like a dog would be. So, but it seems to me it's a business, and he promotes it as a business. So I think from a zoning point of view, we would evaluate it as to whether it's a business activity or not, and whether it's permissible or permitted. And, I understand if he's been doing it for 15 years and he doesn't have a permit, the township's position may be not as strong as it would be to take enforcement action if it had just been initiated last year, for example. But I think we still need to evaluate it and consider whether it's permitted and whether he has done anything to accumulate any vested rights in having that use on the property. I do think the setback issue is certainly relevant. The R2 district is a residential district. It's not a primarily agricultural district. So that could have something to do with what the analysis would be on the zoning side of it. I think if the Board of Supervisors wants us to evaluate this, we would have to put some time into it to try to figure out whether there is whether it's permitted or permissible, or if it's a violation of the zoning ordinance. I'm not quite sure. But, there's an extra dimension here. This is not your run-of-the-mill zoning issue. where somebody's safety is at issue. And so I think, we all know that there's a lot of protections for agricultural activities, but there are exceptions to the right to farm where there are health and safety risks with the use. So that is one of the exceptions to the right to farm. And based on your experience, it sounds like there is, in fact, a health and safety risk that has been shown in this case. And I don't know enough about beekeeping to know if this is an isolated incident or if it is an indication of, the kind of operator he is, or, what exactly is going on in order to figure out if it is appropriate to try to regulate it on the basis of being an inherently hazardous kind of activity. So I have more questions than answers right now.
Yeah, I've never heard of anything like this.
Chris, and not to interrupt, but I would say that, this isn't the first time it happened, but it's the first time that it ever happened to any magnitude even close to this. This was just unbelievable.
Well, that's why I'm wondering, was there any particular thing, and, I don't want to ask you to tell me anything that's uncomfortable for you to talk about, but, was the hive moving? I mean, were they in some kind of, was there something that was
It's something aggravating.
triggered? Yeah.
I would say yes, I was mowing.
Oh, but mowing is not,
I
Now,
was mowing.
can I interject a little? He has, if you go on his website, it makes him look like this very prestigious beekeeper. We used to get, when his wife was alive, she would give us honey. And he had a couple, maybe 8 stacked in the front yard at that time when they first moved in. No problems. But then he started selling bees, selling the queen bees, etc., and people would come. Not many people show up anymore, I've noticed. But the problem is he is keeping bees on other properties. I don't know exactly where, but when you see his website, it makes it look like he's this wonderful beekeeper. I checked with the Berks County Beekeepers Association. He is not a member. Also, the problem is they're abandoned bees. It's not like when you keep bees. Like Penn State, Berks County has a really good beekeeper that is Robin. Can't think of her last name. She used to be at Kutztown University. But his are abandoned, and so that's the reason they're riling.
What do you mean by abandoned?
When my dad had bees, when you have bees, you smoke them, you check the hives, you clean them, you take, the honey out, etc.
Okay.
You're always grooming them, basically. It's kind of like if you have a flock of sheep,
You give them water.
right?
Okay.
And they're just empty ones, and they're right next, like, there's Lyle and his wife's home, and right where you're sitting is his property, and it's just overgrown. It's not kept, so God knows what lives there, but there's nothing for them to eat. They're not being fed, and that's what happens. And the fact that he just pulled them up, the ones that he salvaged, and I don't know where he moved them, he didn't smoke them to calm them or anything. And you have to calm bees, not that I'm an expert, but my dad
Gross.
used to sting himself for his arthritis, so that's why he raised them. But you have
When
to
the
calm
grass
them
is
down,
mowed,
and then
it's my
you
property.
make sure
The
they're
grass is
calm,
not
then you
mowed.
move them. But then you make sure you have all of them. And I watched him because he just moved everything abruptly, and you can't do that,
And that's
It's like
nothing.
abandoning
I
a
mean,
bunch of
You should see
children.
some of the stories.
And I mean, it's sad, and I hate to be like this, but I am worried
I have some.
with Lyle, if his family has parties, the little children a few weeks before that were there, it doesn't take much to perturb them.
Well, if there's high grass and weeds, of course, we can definitely enforce that there. It's, I can imagine, not that it matters, but there's gonna be pushback because we're gonna hear how they don't like to cut their grass. I've heard this from other people that have bees, they like the wild clover to get the pollen from.
This is an R2 district, and this is a clear safety issue.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm not arguing. I'm not
And I know what you're gonna say challenging, but I think we've gotta do something here.
Well, I would agree that there needs to be something done. But I also think possibly that this may be a situation too, where the homeowner is gonna have to, the person who's attacked is gonna have to be part of this as well. Because we don't have a real strong ordinance that we've got 10 feet off the property on it. It's.
I did speak to an attorney about it,
Okay,
and I mean, the advice that I was given, was, obviously, to come over here, and discuss it myself, first. Obviously, at, $500 an hour, I could have paid him to do this, but, I'm over here, doing this. I mean, his thing is, he could, go after him for, my medical bills, et cetera, and he would be willing to do that, but he said, as far as the safety, is concerned moving forward, it's like, they got a 10-foot setback, on this, can you, have a discussion with them and, get them to, really consider in this particular area, in an R2 district, is that a safe distance? I mean,
Well, I
it
think-
obviously wasn't safe the day I was there.
I think if we want to address this, instead of worrying about the setback, I think I would try and eliminate the use
I think
and
that's.
just have it as a
appropriate.
use in the RA or the RC zoning district. And then you could put a limit on the amount of acreage that you would be permitted to have the bees on.
It's nothing, it's an acre maybe.
Well,
If
it's
that.
probably not even that, but I think
And
we
it
should.
seems like it's a commercial business that does not fit our zoning
That's
there.
right. Yep. So,
Well, I would be in favor of you working with Chris and getting something evaluated, because this is a clear safety issue.
well,
And I know it costs money, but I think you have a good civil pressure from what had happened to maybe even pressure.
Right, and I didn't want to be like that, Brian, why,
I understand.
I wanted the guy to say, you know what, I'm sorry, you know what, I'll pay your doctor bill, you know what I mean? And I let it go. But, I mean, when, Officer Ruiz went over there and, sort of gave, her attitude, said, never mind. I guess she's like, really?
Yeah, so I would, do we have to make a motion for that, Chris, you guys?
Yeah, why don't you do that?
I'll make a motion that you pursue this with Kraft and get some research on and see what we can do to alleviate this situation. This seems like a huge safety risk. And I've never heard of honeybees attacking like that in a swarm that are kept. well.
Yeah, I mean, I did hear a number of things, and obviously I'm, not a bee expert, I'm not even a bee novice, but I mean, there's, they can get, Africanized. I was told by some people that, I got some information, from Chad Moyer. And, cause he's, does this as well, and he said that, another thing of this is with all this rainy weather, he said, it seems to be getting them a little bit more on edge. But he doesn't really have this problem, with his. And, he doesn't, he has a neighbor as well, and, he keeps them, well, he has pretty much property, and he keeps them way out in the back away from everybody, because the neighbor has little kids and stuff.
And
He
this,
said he's mindful of that, on his own. He doesn't need somebody else to tell him that. He's mindful of himself of that.
we don't need to have another incident to say, hey, we should have done something.
no, I think we we need to hit this with we'll put some thought into this process, what we're gonna do. It's easy for you to change the ordinance that it's not a permitted use in this zoning district, and we can limit it. Then it's gonna be a matter of getting cooperation from the property owner to get the deeds off the property. But, Chris and I can work on that and come up with what we feel is a solution to that. I'll go out personally and get some good pictures, and so we have an idea of what the property looks like. I haven't been there in a long time. And you're on
I'm in Lenhart Road.
And I'm in Crisscross.
And this guy's on the corners.
Yeah, he's on the corner of Lenhart and Crisscross, so she's his neighbor on one side. I'm the neighbor on the other side.
Well, you showed us one active box of bees. How many of those are on his property at this time? Can you tell?
There has been probably as many as at least 20 of them. Do you think there was?
There's, you can't even tell because everything is so, he has a huge Quonset hut. He has upside down canoes and boats and everything is stacked. And I won't go near it, but it's just empty boxes and there's boxes stacked on each other. And it doesn't, also, the house has what in his house and in the 2-story cement block building he leaves his windows open. Bees look for places to create swarms. They could create them in under his roof. The house is just going into disrepair. It never used to be that way. I mean, prior to that, there was another gentleman that lived there that was a bit different. But he moved out and the house was not repaired. So then when they bought it, a tree fell on the porch roof. And from that time on, they never repaired it. So there's huge gaps under the roof awnings and stuff. And bees will look for places like that to swarm. I mean, they've had it up in Kutztown. They've had a few families had to have bees removed, honeybees, that I know. And that's good, but these are not very happy bees.
I mean, the property's in
It's in bad shape.
disrepair, but that's sort of, a secondary, issue for me right now. I mean, I don't like the fact that it's a junkyard, but,
And it's worse for them. We don't see as much of the stuff they do.
But I mean, I appreciate that you're, gonna look into this, and you have my contact information. I have a lot of pictures, I have a lot of videos. If you need any information, you can let me know, and I'll reach out to that. And I guess you're saying as far as, my medical bills, ambulance bill, et cetera, I guess I'm gonna have to take care of that with a lawyer.
Yeah, we can't help you with your personal damages. I mean, the only thing the township can do is to evaluate whether there's any regulatory action that can be taken.
Yeah.
But as far as damages are concerned, that's between you and him.
Yeah, that's sort of what I thought. I mean, I guess I'm here so that, it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, we didn't even know nothing about it.
The only thing I did hear is, and I mean, I don't know if it's true or not, I heard that there was an incident a few years back where there was either a cable guy or a Verizon guy or an electric guy. I think it was actually a guy fixing one of the street lights, and I heard he was over here. I heard he got nailed by this guy's beams too. And he was set up fixing I don't know.
There was never anything brought to the township, or I mean, not in the last 10 years, 12 years. Or we would have addressed it. But we will address this and we'll get in touch with you and let you know the progress.
Thank you.
I will come out one day this week.
For the record,
I'll
second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. All right, thanks, Lyle.
You bet. Thank you.
Approval of the minutes for June 9th.
That's good to me.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Code enforcement, for June 2025.
All right. For the period ending 6/21, we issued 22 permits, total construction value of $545,634.10. There were 16 residential building and zoning permits, 6 non-residential. There was a new home permit. We performed 36 building inspections, 9 property maintenance issues, 8 compliance achieved property maintenance issues. Permits issued, there was a variety of mechanical permits, sprinkler system, that goes with the Sheets property, the sign for the Sheets property as well. Nothing too different. There was a demolition permit, new construction modular home, couple of roofs, solar panels,
Look how many times I got.
the normal stuff. So, as we typically do, there was patrol done in the township. There were a couple of work without permit issues. Biggest thing that looking through this that I see, and it's been an ongoing problem, and I can't, we send these people notices of violation. Is over on Saucony Road, there's a number of homes in there that nobody has a paved driveway. I shouldn't say nobody does, but there's a number of homes that do not. And especially with these heavy storms, we're getting.
Washed out onto the road. We
Yep.
talked about that a couple of years ago.
And I wish there would be a way, but I don't know how we can accomplish it, to force these people to pave the lower part of the driveway. Because it's kind of ugly over there, especially with the types of rain.
We have a sort of a form letter that we have done for clients to send out, threatening action under the section of the second class township code that gives the township the right to cite people for putting a nuisance on the road. And we've used this with this washout type situation. And
Those are the ones that got.
the most recent one I've done, we included language that the engineer prepared for the township that said, what would be an appropriate permanent solution to avoid a recurrence of the washouts under the road, and that would be the, specifications for some kind of paving within a certain distance of the roadway, maybe some stormwater improvements as well. So anyway, that's, trying to come up with a package that you can use for these situations. How many of them do you think?
There's 4 or 5 properties here. I think there's probably that many here on the report. Counting this, but there's a number of them.
There's at least 2 of them there that it takes forever for them to straight. Sometimes that's gravel. And it takes the whole road.
That's a township going out, if you had to go out and clean the roads,
Occasionally we will, usually wait like a day or two. And then there's usually only one driveway that they don't clean it up. But the other driveways are pretty good at getting cleaned up within a day or two. But if we notice that it doesn't get done within a day or two, we'll go and clean it up. But
well, those are, if you have people like that who are not voluntarily fixing it. I mean, even though I agree the paving would probably solve it on a permanent basis, I would hope. But, so you think there's like one
like one or two that don't quite get cleaned up for a while.
Yeah, there's one in particular.
Yeah, and then
Well,
like.
that would be,
We've got
that would be somebody who would threaten a citation.
1440, 1448, 1456, 1432.
Which is the worst one?
That I couldn't tell you.
You know,
Probably you
the-
don't know.
I don't know, I don't know the address, I don't. I know the
1432.
house.
If it's a house, I'm thinking.
I would think we do them all. Say, listen, this is an issue.
Yeah, she actually,
Moving forward, to some extent, either fix the situation, or we're gonna start doing a citation. And if anything runs out on the road and the township has to clean it up, you're gonna receive a bill.
I feel it's, it's a safety issue to a certain extent. I know it's not a heavily traveled road, which is a saving grace here, but it is.
Sucking, right?
Yeah, so,
Well, I would need Jeff and Robbie to come up with the addresses or, identify them. And then, I can work with Scott to have the language for what the remediation should be. And I already have the letter that says that we would, issue citations if they don't take care of it or avoid or return to the problem.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So there's one driveway there, I think they have a piece of equipment. They usually do a pretty good job, but I know probably within the past 5 years, they redid their whole driveway kind of. And it looks to me that they sort of made a runoff spot somewhere else on their driveway. Now it kind of, instead of running out the driveway, it runs down the side of the hill. And it's like a big washout somewhere else there. So I get the homeowner situation with it running out, and I mean, I honestly don't even think paving the first 20 feet of the driveway is gonna fix anything, just because there's just, the driveways are so steep, and the water's just gonna carry that material over top of the blacktop regardless. So I honestly don't know
I think
what
they
a
need
permanent solution.
diversions.
I mean, there could be some
Upgrade
diversions, yeah, but, like the other driveway, well, like I said, it just washes out somewhere else. So,
Well, the one where you said they made improvements and they created a diversion, is it causing a problem somewhere else?
there's some erosion on the bank, but as far as like, I mean, some of that runs out into the gutter, which is real close to a drain box, which we clean the gutters very often, and that material just gets scooped up. So that's not really a problem, right now, because we maintain the gutter. So, but like I'm saying, it's just a tough spot to get the water to go somewhere.
All right, well, I would want, I mean, maybe one size doesn't fit all, I don't know, but I would want Scott and Robbie together to come up with what the potential solution would be that we would include in these letters. And if there's more than one answer because of different circumstances, I guess I'm gonna rely on you and Scott to come up with the appropriate language. But does the board want us to work on it?
Yeah, I make the motion, we do that.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
There's a property on Walnut Town Road that had a big pile of garbage bags out behind the house. That one, we were successful with in about 2 weeks' time, 2.5 weeks, so that was good news. But just a normal high grass. Weeds.
All right, thank you.
One more thing that Angela just said, that they had a call on one of those driveways and they couldn't get there.
Yeah, so our vehicles can't get up the one driveway in particular, and the house we've been to several times. for like domestics. Now I'm assuming it's the same people that still live there, I'm not sure, but it was like that several years ago. It's progressively gotten worse. And we've been there for domestics. The husband that lived there was threatening to commit suicide before. So like it's more serious stuff that we've had there. And the call that we had a couple months ago, the officers we can't get our patrol cars up there. So they had to walk up that hill. So for us, like tactically, that's a nightmare. Like, because they sit up high, obviously, in the house. And so like they're potentially looking down at us and you can't see anything. Like you can't see the house because the driveway actually goes up this way and then it goes up this way.
So it's that steep that you can't get up, or it's rutted
And
out?
it's so washed down again. It actually was a couple of years ago. So every time I drive by, I'm like, can we make them like pave this or something? I mean, I know it's private property, but like an ambulance or anything, like there's nobody. I don't think they can make it up that hill.
It must be there a while, because we would never allow that. We would never allow that now.
One of the houses up there, I know I was up there years ago. I was just glad to get down alive.
Yes, it's probably the
Because
same
of the
one.
people, I'm not just talking about the condition of the driveway.
The condition of the house too.
And
Yep.
I think what is going on.
Yeah, they had two little kids the last time I was there, two little girls, and we stood right inside the house and you could look in the corners and along like the tops of the walls, bugs just running back. I mean, it was in really bad shape inside, and that was a couple of years ago. But yeah, like I said, that was a couple months ago, probably back in the winter that we had that call. It was a 911 hang-up call, which was really bad because one, we have to go to 911 hang-ups, and two, coming from a house like that where, is a 911 hang-up because it was accidental or because there's like something really going on up there. And for the officers to like hike up the driveway and it's all washed, like it was just kind of a nightmare altogether, so.
We need to address it.
It's a shame there are properties in every municipality, and of course have some here, that the conditions that people are living in are really distressed. But there's a number of properties like that, and they're everywhere. People don't maintain their properties. Their level of cleanliness is non-existent. And sometimes it's a financial issue where they don't have the money to maintain their property. But it is what it is. And this is another property here that we're talking about that's very bad.
I mean, I really think that the one in particular has the potential to really be not a favorable outcome if there was like a fire or something. I mean, I don't even know how a fire truck, if they would even attempt to get up there, they'd have to try to do it from like out on the road. I mean,
You could get a fire truck out there.
It's.
All right, let's address it. All right, SEO report. Make a motion to accept the report. Second. All in favor? Aye. Police report.
Okay, so for June's report, we handled a total of 204 incidents in the township, 20 crash investigations. We issued 43 traffic citations, made 3 arrests, conducted 49 vehicle stops. Our detective logged 15 hours for follow-up to those reportable crimes. And under significant activities, Chief has that we handled reports for multiple frauds, a sex offense, drug possessions, DUI, criminal trespass, and harassment. And on the 17th, our department, along with several other agencies, conducted a commercial truck inspection detail out here on Kutztown Road. The results of the detail are as follows. There were 29 overall inspections conducted, 41 violations were found. We issued citations for 18. A total of 23 warnings were given by county officers, so that's just collectively for everybody who was participating in the detail. And 7 trucks or drivers were placed out of service as a result of that. Personnel, we're still looking for part-time officers. Speaking of, this is our newest part-time officer, Joel Abram. Comes to us currently from Penn State, city experience prior to that. So we are still getting him trained, but he's doing well. Nothing to report on equipment. The new office furniture that was ordered actually was delivered the other day and installed. So that's all I have.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Virginville Fire Company report. You guys have anything to add? You want to add to your joint operations? You want to talk about that at all? Or?
Yeah, so we've been working with the officers of 32 to not only better relationships, but to work on some things to make the responses stronger within the township. Some of the things that we have done in the past and some things that were changed. Right now, we're adding Station 33 and 32, which is Walnut Town and us, to all call types, with the exception of medical calls, trees down, fire police, and wires down. They're going to be handled just by what the run card calls for. Some of the other things that we've been working on with those run cards is if there's a unit specifically called for, let's just say engine tanker 33 is called and our ladder, but we can only get one of our pieces out, they're going to now come right away with the reciprocal vehicle. So if our tanker doesn't get out, they're going to come with their tanker right away to back us up, to reciprocate that. And then we're also going to do the same thing for down here for them. Some other things that we're working on is, or that we are starting with is the chief officers. So we call them the white hats, the chief, the deputy chief, and the assistant chief of both companies will start running mutually to either side. So if there's something going on within the township, hopefully one of our chief officers from either company will be handling the township call as the responsible party. Captains and lieutenants will be following suit, but once one of the chief officers get on location, they're going to hand it over to the highest ranking officer. Some other things that we're working on with personnel wise, in Richmond Township, because obviously, they can go to Rusco, only, kind of that way more. We will go towards Greenwich a little bit in Windsor. If it is in Richmond Township, the staff can jump on either trucks. So this way, if they're up here, they don't have to drive all the way down to Walnut Town to get on their trucks. They can jump around our trucks, and vice versa. Staff that's over this way, if it's in Richmond Township, they can run over to Walnut Town, get on the trucks, and respond to the call. So we have more people on the trucks getting off, ready to go, instead of having to drive from up here all the way down there and then get the truck, get on another truck. So it's saving some things there. Chief officers will also be getting trained in operations of all the vehicles. So like myself, I'll be learning all their vehicles down here on how to drive them and operate them, and vice versa. They're going to learn ours. And the same thing, if they're in this area, they're going to jump on the trucks and get them out, get them on the road. So this way it's a little bit, it's almost like a we're joining efforts to combine, but we're not there yet. It's just some things that we're working towards with that aspect, with the driving part too. We're adding the captains and lieutenants into that as well once the chiefs are up and running. So this way it's a growing process. Some other things we have coming up, July 19th, which is this Saturday. We're going down to the training site again. I know I talked to you, Brian, about that. We're gonna be doing a smoke maze training, which is a building that they designed that they can smoke it out. We have a hose line, and it's a course. They gotta get through it, for going into a burning building, learning how to crawl through smoke, learn different pathways, how to get around some things, wires and stuff like that. And then we're also going to be doing a hose line advancement into a building that is structural. Looks like a house. We can get into it, put hose lines into it, just like if we're going into a burning building. The big thing is that we're working towards this year is on September 7th, we're going to be doing a company level burn where we are going to go down to the training site and actually light the building on fire about 4 or 5 times. We want to make sure our staff is comfortable for doing this. So we're building them up. 2 months ago, we were down at the training site to do ladders and basic hose line advancement, getting them more familiar with the newer guys. So that's some of the things we're working on. And then either monthly or bi-monthly, we're going to be doing in-house training together on a Tuesday night. So either they'll come up to us, we'll go down to them. We're going to go somewhere, get tours set up, whatever. So we all know what's going on within the township mutually. Those are some of the things that we're working on. And this is just to better the coverage in Richmond Township, not only for the residents, but anybody that is driving through the area. We got to protect not only the residents, but we have 1 million people that drive through here a day. We got to make sure we're ready for everything. So it's just some things that we're working on. This is something we've been working. We've been having chief officer meetings with them. I think like once a month, every other month, whenever we have the time. We're getting together to see what our next steps are together to make this possible and better for you guys and the residents.
So I think that's terrific, the training, the cooperation. And like I say, we value the volunteerism. I think you guys, we have a very good communication, I think, with Virginville. Well, I do anyway. I get the reports, and anytime I ask, I get them timely. I think you guys do a great job there.
I appreciate that.
So we appreciate what you guys do too, and we try and support you the best we can.
The other thing that's on the docket, I know I sent an email out. I don't know if you got to read it. The cell tower. I know we had a variance put in for the cell tower back when it was built. The cell tower company sold it to another company. They're looking to get more providers put on it. So right now we only have Verizon. AT&T is looking to get put on there. Get more cell sites. That income, more income to us. And I believe a letter was sent to you by she's our rep for the cell tower stuff. I don't really deal with it. They're looking for an additional 400 square feet of fenced in area to be able to add like more equipment in that fenced in area around the tower. I don't know if that's anything to do with codes or
Might require additional zoning relief. Whatever the request is, I would ask that Jeff look at it first and compare it to what the prior zoning decision was for that location.
Mhm.
And then Jeff can decide whether or not it's already okay, or if it would require additional relief. It's possible a new zoning hearing could be required to expand the fenced area, but it depends on what the wording of the original decision was.
Okay.
We're aware of it. We haven't received anything formally that I'm aware of yet.
Okay, I know we just received a letter. We went through our meeting and we said, if everything's approved, we would move forward with it. But we gotta get the blessing from everybody.
Same tower, just different floor equipment on the bottom.
Typically,
Yeah.
they'll have size or an area for the generator and more equipment.
Yeah, and I don't think the board here would have an issue with that. It's just the zoning, if you gotta get zoning relief.
Yeah, that's the only, and we wanna make sure we're doing it the proper way. And we know we had a variance to have that installed. We just wanna make sure that we're following the process of expanding it,
And
the
then
additional
it's
square footage.
Just a matter of modifying that existing variance, which shouldn't be that big of an issue.
Do you have a card, Sherry's contact information or something I can give to Sherry so she can send that information to you guys? I don't have it with me and I apologize for that. I'm usually more prepared for this stuff. So.
definitely be for that.
Thank you.
But they might have it. I remember we got the main issue was the tower. I don't know about how much they had in the case.
Well, it could be part of the decision.
Right.
Yeah, it may not even spell it out if it doesn't spell it.
The main issue was the tower that got.
Yeah, the action, because it's in within the buildings of,
Yeah.
that's up there. I do know that's what it was, but I don't remember if there's anything in there for the fence lines.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at it.
Okay. I'll have Sherry, her name's Sherry Kreischer, she'll reach out to you.
Okay.
In the next couple of days, we're gonna send you the form they send us
All right.
of what they're requesting.
Okay.
So,
I'd like to ask, with the new run cards, or I guess it's for fire and rescue activities, is the geographic area for first call larger now than it was before?
no, none of that part is changing. The primaries are staying the exact same, the map's staying the same. So like we cover, if you got here to the traffic circle, 222, this way is ours and a little bit over here. And then Walnut Town has 222 that way, a little bit at like Farmers Drive. And then they shoot over the DECA.
But I thought you said you're like running these calls together.
So what we're doing is, what's on the run card is when you read the run card, it says these specific trucks are called for. And then you can specifically call for a station just for additional manpower. So what we did was, instead of it just being station 33 for us, we might not call for, let's just say, a brush truck or something from 32, but they would be on the call by just station, and they can bring what is needed for that call without having to add the extra resources on the list.
Because what I'm concerned about is there may be more, I don't know, overlapping calls, so to speak, where, you know, there's more calls that come to the two departments or the two fire companies because of you having the support relationship between the two fire companies. And, you know, how are we gonna handle that situation where you have more overlapping calls? Maybe it hasn't happened, so.
So I can use the possible tornado, whatever you want to call this, bottle down here the other day with the storm here off of Fluid Landing Road. The county will call us and say, hey, you got another call coming in, what's your wishes? And we divert it right away, crews to different areas to handle different things right away.
Okay, so you have a way to handle that.
Yeah, so like, our brush truck was down here on Massillon Springs Road, right there at Shirey. They were up there dealing with that. I went over to Krause Road. So we just started crisscrossing and getting people where they needed to go. But we had this responses already out there. So we didn't have to wait for additional people. It's adding a little bit more people on the road, but we can handle more by saying, hey, we don't need our brush truck here. Let's send them over there right away. And the responses immediate instead of waiting for the call to come through.
Well, I think it's great that you're working together.
Yeah,
We're trying, you know.
that's awesome.
Thank
All
you.
right.
I think that's all I have in my email. My dissertation this month. But we'll work with them to figure out the tower
And
part.
we'll work with you.
Okay.
Whatever
Yeah.
you need to do.
I appreciate that.
All the towns report.
Okay.
Any questions on that? Nope. Okay. So we did a fire survey with Walnut Town, Virginville, and Fleetwood. The results are in. They did a comprehensive study, a lot of great information in here. I've been working with them. We had a little overview with them last week, one evening. Tentatively, we have planned for Thursday, August 7th at the Grange for a meeting, public meeting to dispense this information. So it would be great, really great, as many as your fire people that want to attend.
You let me know the official date when it comes, so it's set in stone.
Yeah, I
time.
just emailed them today that their side, it's with Fleetwood also, because it was the 3 fire companies, we're gonna do one meeting. So they can come out and the state will come out and give all the information, what they found. A lot of great stuff, a lot of high praise for all the fire companies. And they'll give you what they found and what their recommendations are. this is nothing binding, it's just an impartial study. And we'll get this information, we'll digest it and see what the next move is. There's grants to do more studies and different things, but this is just to get the information out, you guys digest it, come back with questions or concerns, you know, and they cost us anything. This is a free study. So there's a lot of good information in there that we can discuss there, get it out, and you guys can come back with questions. I think that's the format's gonna be. We're gonna dispense all the information, it's a packet.
Okay.
You guys will have all the information and then we'll get questions maybe at a later meeting, so we don't hold the state up. They just give us the info. We can choose to do with it what we want. So I'll get that out. General, it'll be on our website and I'll text fire chiefs directly, just so you know. But tentatively, it's August 7th at 6:30 at the Grange. This was all tentative until I responded today, but I didn't get a response back. But the Grange is available, Fleetwood's available, and we're available, so I wouldn't see any holdup with that. Okay? There'll be a PowerPoint there, there'll be packets, what they discussed, what they found. I found it really interesting, because I'm not in the fire service. I don't know how this stuff works. And, you know, I'm looking forward to getting this report out and having a conversation.
On a quick question or a side note involving the fire companies, I know, I think Bucky and I are on a call right now on an accident. We're seeing a lot of, I don't want to say issues, but we're seeing changes in Fleetwood's attitude towards us since this study has started. From the incident I called you about with the checkpoint, they're just kind of starting to go a little more rogue and not respecting what we're doing out here for you guys. There's another incident I just learned about. And again, it's not my area, it's not my forte. I got the information from Brittany. Fleetwood Fire Company reached out to other surrounding companies for the fireworks standby for this Friday night. They just don't respect to say, hey, why don't we have both of the Richmond Township companies come down and help the coverage. The fireworks are in Richmond Township because they hold them on the ball field. But they ask like Lyons, Kutztown, Landon. They don't ever, and the only reason why they invite it all in the town is because it is in Richmond Township. But they don't ever come up and say, hey, this is in Richmond Township, do you guys want to be a part of it as well?
Yeah, I know it's challenging. I think we got to work towards a better cooperative program between the three.
Yeah,
And that includes them.
Because
you know,
I've done everything that you guys said, hey, let's make sure, and I've done everything that you guys have asked. I respect them on the calls, you know, obviously I don't need to be invited to everybody's barbecue, you know, but it's got to go both ways.
Yeah, I understand that. I think this study provides a lot of information, and it's my intent to make sure that everybody's cooperating and we're getting the best bang for our buck. As everything goes through the roof, equipment costs, that we've got to be cooperating a lot harder on both sides. You know what I mean? And we work very well with them, with the police. You know, we have a good relationship. I would hope that we could get there with the fire service sometime too. This report gives a lot of information, and you know, a lot of potential to do things maybe a little differently, a little better on all sides. You know,
I know we're not perfect.
Yeah, but we value, the biggest thing here is we value the volunteers and what you guys do, and maybe we can make that aspect a little better. You know what I mean? My goal is to make it better. It's just so expensive, and now we got the ambulance we got to pay for, and I just want to make sure it's efficient with what we're doing. And we'll discuss it we'll give you the information, and then we'll have some sort of follow-up with you guys. Maybe it takes 3 companies to sit down together, you know what I mean, and with the township and the borough, and just, you know, work it out.
All right.
So
I appreciate
it is on the forefront of my
Alright.
Yeah, and then I'm looking forward to get the feedback too, truthfully, because like I say, I have no experience with the fire service. So, all right, thanks for coming down, everything you do,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, we'll support you the best we can.
Because I have, for the EMS thing, I have something else when we get to that as well.
Okay. Perfect. Request from the community fire company of New Tripoli. They're asking for fire police traffic control on Saturday. Is that a request to you guys? Is that a
Yeah, we
request?
usually go up and we supply them 2 or 3 guys for their gun bash. We're up there probably like 8 hours. They feed us, they take care of us while we're up there. And they usually do give a donation to the fire company from their event
Yeah.
to help cover some things.
So I have,
For workers' comp purposes, you need to approve this for them to.
correct. So
I didn't even know the letter came in,
Yeah.
truthfully.
I have no issue. I make a motion that we support this and allow them to do that. It's September 20th for their fall bash for New Tripoli.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Lifeline ambulance report. So the calls seem to be pretty stable. Richmond has 45 calls, Fleetwood 36, and then there's a bunch of mutual aid. So it seems to be steady and consistent. Topton, they do 3% of their calls come to Richmond Township. 48 charted calls. I don't know how that affects for the whole year. $239. I never don't quite match, but. Who does the run cards for that?
So those that's a joint effort for the run card issues, for anything within Richmond Township, Walnut Town, anything that they have the controls for on the run card maps, they have to work directly with John Shook and I believe the guy's name is Mike Richards over at Topton. That we have to write their what they want on our run cards, and then we submit it. They have to sign them. We have to sign them.
So they tell you what they want.
Mm-hmm. I don't question EMS when it comes to
No, I understand.
what EMS providers they want to come in at what order, because that's really what we're doing. If it's, Lifeline and then Topton, Muhlenberg, or Blandon, or however that order is, they know who's closest to that area. And what providing services they have. Is it ALS, BLS, basic life support, advanced life support, intermediate life support? Like they
So
know.
they come up with that, just give it.
They give it to us, we put it in the card, and yeah, they kind of do that at the same time as the updates when we do our updates as well. So it's all
Together.
one shot.
But
Yeah.
you have no say over that, they just take their recommendations.
Correct.
That's what the product looks like that. The tax to fund the EMS. We had talked about that, we have to have a separate EMS tax if it doesn't want to come out of the general fund that we budgeted if we're looking to increase the tax on that, correct? I don't know that we have to do anything this year.
I would think
Yeah, we could probably just do a budget line item like we did in the past. So that's where I'm headed to. Just we'll do it as a general budget item. And then we'll discuss it at the budget
we'll get the numbers, the topic. Do you know what percentage of area they have? I mean, that's hard for you to know, I guess.
So Topton EMS only covers our side of it, Richmond Township,
Yeah.
and that only covers, if you go up at the adult bookstore, to Crystal Cave, to Niddle, down at EY Farms. That's it. That's the only thing that they have primary coverage of in Richmond Township. So it covers like Osgood's there, the church, anything on 222 up to that line of Kentsville Road and the line of Kentsville Road.
So in Crystal Cave.
Crystal Cave and then Niddle back there.
Under the second class township code, for fire tax, you can do not more than 3 mils. For ambulance, rescue, and other emergency services, you can do not more than 1/2 mil.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that much. But I think,
One,
huh?
you can't come on.
No, you cannot.
So
Separate.
one thing that I want to, I'm not an EMS guy. I used to be. That used to be Kutztown's area. My question is, and I don't know, I don't have the numbers in front of me, time distance study from Fleetwood Ambulance, Lifeline, to that area, to now Topton being at their municipality building for Maxitawny, who is actually close to get the quickest, the services there. Now that they moved, what is it, 2 miles down the road, is it?
Where is their station? I mean, forgive my ignorance, I just.
Nope, it's right behind the Burger King. So if you turn right at the Burger King, head back a football field
I know
and a
where,
half.
yep, I know where the maintenance is. So they're at the
They're
maintenance,
at- yes.
at the township building.
Yes, they have one ambulance sitting there, as far as I understand. And then we have Lifeline over here in Fleetwood.
So when we did the negotiations, I was under the assumption that Lifeline did the entire township.
Maybe not.
So we budget that. We figured, hey, this is the township residents. And now I come to find out, oh, by the way, Topton wants some money too, because they cover.
Well, that used to be Kutztown, Cats. That used to be their area over there, that little chunk.
And I'm not saying they're not entitled to it.
Yep.
But I just wasn't expecting that. Shame on me, maybe I just didn't know. I'm like, now instead of X amount, now it's X amount plus X amount. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't part of the discussion. So I'm not sure how we handle that moving forward, but I get what you're saying. And maybe we have a discussion with Lifeline.
Yeah, because obviously they moved, it's further away than what Kutztown used to be now. The time and distance, I don't know, because they're around 222 pretty much. They can hit it and get in here. I don't know how that looks
Yeah.
from the county level, because they have all the time distance studies to say, from this point to the middle of this card, there would be on 2 different response cards. They would put the pin in the middle of the card and say, at this address, this is how long it would take them to get here, this is how long it would take them to get here. And same thing for the one that's in the lower end here. Obviously, the lower end, it's a 50-50, I would think, from Topton.
I would think both
Lifeline.
ways, because either way, it's the same. Funnels
Yeah.
up north, it's not like it goes closer. Yeah, so that's my thought for this year. Just, let's get it farther down the road and try and get a handle on top of it. And, Lifeline. Thank you for your, like I said, I don't understand.
Mhm. I'm not trying to put Topton down either.
Nope.
We work.
But we gotta be
very
fair,
well.
if they're
Yep.
covering, then we gotta somehow cover their costs in relationship to Lifeline, I think. They both have the same cost.
Yeah.
So,
I would say they have probably less than 10% of the coverage area,
yeah,
if that, of the whole Richmond Township.
I agree. From what I looked at. All right, approve renewal of property casualty insurance with Seltzer. How does it compare to last year? Last year.
Yeah, well, last year's, it's right in the packet there on page 6 of Seltzer's.
I figured you would have that. I looked through it, it wasn't just.
That's okay. Total premium from last year was $50,000. They included the volunteer fire company's workers' comp fee. Last year's workers' comp for the volunteer fire company was 21,000. This year it's up to 26,000. So that increases it up to 57,339 total.
And there's no other options for fire company.
No, unfortunately, no one is putting any quotes in for that.
Yeah,
Is what it is.
It's a tough.
We was reading the charts.
That's because of the cancer thing. Covering every kind of. Just makes it unaffordable. I make a motion that we approve this. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the workers' comp, for the insurance for the state workers' insurance fund. I make a motion that we approve that. All in favor? We have no other choice. I mean, I don't know if
Correct.
anybody
Yeah,
does.
That's it. No one else wants to touch it.
And that's a shame. Ben Kemmer is moving out of the township, so we're gonna have to find a replacement for the planning commission.
We do have a meeting this month. We will have a meeting for next month. We just got paperwork today for it, so we will have a meeting in August.
When's the move coming?
The 10th of August. We should be there.
Okay. All right.
But if we have any thoughts on anybody that replacing, we gotta work with that.
Yeah.
I have a couple ideas. I'm gonna hammer them out again. I make the same rounds over and over. Till someone, have you changed your mind? Look at all the good we're doing in this township. Authorize the solicitor to review and provide comments on the Comcast franchise agreement. I'll make that motion. All in favor? Aye. Hey, engineers report.
All right. Couple things, brief report. Willow Crest, first on the list. Grande is scheduled to meet with Med Ed for connections there this week to get these streetlights on. And all other repairs to the site will occur after the streetlights are hooked up. So hopefully that happens this week. Of course, this weather that we're having may include that, but at least it's getting close. Solar farm. We had a meeting at the solar farm. Scott and I, Sam was there. Stone was represented, as was Kinley Horn, the engineering company. I felt that it was a productive discussion. We talked about what can we really do here to try and improve this situation. And, you know, the conversation kept coming back to the large basin. I think it's basin 2.
Yeah, it's 2.
The one that's closest to the railroad that comes out. The size of that basin is approximately 6 acres, and it's not really holding any water. And the water's passing through it very quickly. So the discussion was held, what can we do to change that? So it was talked about putting a restrictor plate where it goes through the head wall. I think currently it's a 12-inch pipe that exits out of there. And maybe we cut that down to a 4-inch pipe to try and hold the water back a little bit. And maybe we can get some infiltration that way by keeping that water back in the basin. So there was, we talked about we want to do this, we want to try it and see if it will work. So I contacted Dean Druckenmiller from the Conservation District the next day and told him what we would like to try. And he was agreeable to So the engineering firm, Kimley Horn I think has drawn up a plan to have a piece fabricated to mount on the head wall and get this on as soon as we can to try it, and hopefully it can't hurt anything. We have plenty of capacity there to have water fill up that basin that's not being used, so.
How high is the head wall?
Oh, Sam, can you address that?
And what happens when it
Well,
if
the
there's
relief-
overflow, I would
The
think.
relief for the whole 6 acres would be the head wall, the right that goes over.
Yeah.
It's about 2 feet. It might be 30 inches. If you take 30 inches over 6 acres, you can retain an awful lot of water.
Yeah.
Speak from an engineer standpoint. It's millions of gallons. So my argument was that without restriction, the water just passes right through it. Well, what's that 6 acres doing? It's doing
Right.
nothing.
Right.
So I said, let's do something there, put a restriction there, hold it back and release it slowly. That was the idea right from the get-go. They just designed it around that big pipe, which in catastrophic rain, a 12-inch rain, yeah, that'll do it. But on a couple inches, it's doing nothing.
Right.
It just flows right through.
Which makes sense.
I'm relatively certain this will do a lot. At least now that pond will fill up at some point.
Yeah.
Because until this, it was never going to fill up. It was just a waste of property. So,
Well, I felt, good that the Conservation District was on board with it.
yeah, made it much easier.
Yes.
Good.
So,
So what's the next step? What's the process?
well, as soon as they're gonna have it fabricated and get this put in place.
They're committed to doing
Yes, yeah. Yeah, Hillstone said they will take care of it. It's a relatively inexpensive.
Yeah, easy fix.
Really easy.
I thought you'd have to build up the wall though, but it's just a pipe that was opposed to pipe.
Just gonna block it off the
Plate for the small.
equivalent of
Yeah.
a 4-inch area.
The only thing I asked is I'd like to see it when it's done.
They have any idea what it might be installed?
We did get, Scott received an email late last week from Kimley Horn and also from Hillstone. So they're in the process of, Kimley Horn did their paperwork that they wanted to do just to run some numbers and see what they thought the advantages would be. And Hillstone was the last email that we received, and he's in the process of having it fabricated. So I would hope in another week or two, we should have this in place.
Should be good, just before we actually need it.
So the other item Scott had on his list is the street work. Before I get on to that, I guess Scott and Robbie are gonna meet next week with Ryan Folk Paving, to schedule the paving repairs on Weaver Road that needs to be addressed there, so that should be happening next week, at least getting it on the schedule again with this weather. Then the final issue was that H&K's planning to start their work next week as well for the street work. So,
Are you ready to go, Rob?
I think so, yeah. Just need to try to get a date from H&K so we can put some signs out and let the residents know. I'm always hesitant to do that because the weather changes everything. So I try to wait as long as I can, but I also like to give a week's notice, so it's a little difficult sometimes.
So will they close that front waivers to fix that pipe? And we'll have to come in the back way for a couple of days or?
I mean, if anything, it would only be a day.
Okay.
yeah, that'd be pretty quick.
Yeah, that pipe shouldn't really take more than half a day to replace. Maybe they'll leave it covered with stone for a day or two so it settles, and then, blacktop it. But it shouldn't be that much of an inconvenience for you. Maybe 1 or 2 days at the most, I would guess.
I want to mention this before I forget, because I was always opposed to this, but I came across Mine Road, the unpaid part. And I'm thinking to myself, almost half of that is paid now. You keep extending, not you keep, we keep extending it out from both ends, and I'm thinking if, we might wanna just see what that cost is until another year, because then we can collect road use tax for the whole thing.
Correct.
And it would probably make your life a little bit easier.
So we've been talking, the road crew's been talking about that for a couple of years now. One of our list of roads to get paved next year would be Gift Road. That's also a dirt road. That has a couple more houses on it, so we're gonna look at getting that paved to eliminate that dirt road. We've been talking about Mine Road for a while, it's just hard to justify, I guess, because there's essentially one farm that's on the unpaved portion.
And they probably don't want it paid,
So,
you know, right? They probably don't want it paid. But, I mean, I'm just verbalizing my thoughts when I came, oh geez, we came from this end now and we came from that end extended.
Well, it kept on washing out at both ends.
I know.
That was a major
I know.
problem for us.
So now we're probably halfway there. Just a thought sometime.
No, we've been thinking about it. If we could, if we could eliminate Gift Road, eliminate Mine Road, Weaver's isn't that big of a deal for us. And Garrett, it is what it is with Garrett.
But even if you pave the curve at Garrett, whatever is the major issue for you guys, that's probably it. That's all.
Right. My goal would be to eliminate all the dirt roads except for Garrett and get some homeowner to take over Garrett Road. But
I don't think
that's the goal for us.
I don't think that's happening.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But that curve that washes wherever you wash, and I know you run the pick grader over Mine Road, I would assume so, because it's in good shape now.
Yeah.
I came across, I'm like, this is really good shape, but we're paved now almost halfway if we do the other half, because the base is there. I don't know that it would take a whole lot.
Just tune it up with the grader and pave it.
Yeah, so, and then we get road tax probably for that mile or whatever it is, or half a mile. Just a thought. I just wanted to verbalize it while I thought of it.
Oh, I'm all for it.
Not saying it has to happen, but when we think about stuff, let's keep that in mind. Because I was always opposed, I'm like, why do we need this? I'll just do a freaking racetrack. I'm thinking, man, maintenance costs on this probably could be reduced quite a bit.
Right.
Because it gets like a washboard after a while.
It's
whatever.
tough because you have, a lot of people, it's a lot of the delivery, like FedEx, rear-wheel drive, they go through there and the chatters, and
Yep.
that's just the way it is.
And it makes a lot of noise.
Yeah.
So, just a thought. All right, anything else, Jeff?
No, that's all I have.
Stack Tech Engineer approval of rental of a portable generator at Pleasant Hill Pump Station during repairs. What? Sorry, Chris. It's delinquent sewer reports.
All right,
Yes, I hate talking about this every freaking month.
Last month, the board had asked me to prepare a list of the really old liens, because we had a couple of requests to pay off the debt recently. That's not done yet, so
Okay.
that's still on my to-do list. As far as the current list that we're looking at, there's nothing really that I'm recommending any legal action be taken. However, I thought it might be appropriate, given the amount of these balances that are outstanding, and there's a couple of new ones that have come on. Might want to have Jen send a letter to each of these, just as a reminder to, this is the balance, and, the borough, or the township rather, could file liens and take other legal action. You have kind of a letter that you sent.
Yes.
So that would be my recommendation at this point for these current.
The ones that are creeping up.
One of them are close to 1,000.
Yeah, so they would trigger filing liens, and rather than incur that expense, if Jen could send them a letter and maybe get some of them paid down, then we would avoid the expense of filing liens. Yeah, I recommend a motion.
I'll make a motion that Jen sends some letters.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay with you?
That's fine.
Thank you. I don't have anything else unless you have any questions for me.
Approval of the rental of the portable generator, Pleasant Hill Pump Station. during the repair. Do we have a quote on that?
I saw it in my email. I thought it was expensive.
Yeah, the quote is from Envira.
Is that for so this is for the rental during repairs? I thought it was the Omnisite equipment that's here.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was part of his email. I did not print out his email. My apologies.
Do you know, if you remember what the amount was, or?
I do not.
I have this. Looks like 11:45 for the day. So that's not-
Is it just one day?
I think it was a couple days that it has listed on there, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know, somebody was asking for a day. On Thursday, August 14th, they'll need to disconnect power, which means we won't have electricity to the pumps. And it says that the well continuously fills out, so they should have power.
Yeah, it's 11:45 for the day. I think that's all right.
Yeah.
Maybe we can't.
Cannot have it.
Cannot have it. I make a motion that we approve that rental of the generator for the pump station for the day. All in favor?
If I read that email right, I think that's an option, because there's already the generator in there. I think that was kind of like a backup plan.
Yeah, well, you're right about that. I mean, I think the board needs to authorize it
Right,
if necessary, but it is, Robbie's right. What he says in his email is that they might be able to just run it off of the pump one backup engine.
Yeah.
Because there's a backup generator there now.
Yeah, it runs off of natural gas.
Does that have the capacity to run a pump? Actually, we should.
Just one pump at a time.
Right.
What they're replacing for the whole thing will run both pumps.
Right.
And he's gonna confirm with Powertron if we can eliminate the need of the expense of rental generator. So we give that option.
I do it with something.
And the other thing is this
The
remote.
Omnisite XR15. I make the motion, the motion that we approve that. Yeah, the one was from 2007 and it's 18 years old.
Come on, no. Was that one cellular based? Was the old one, how did that report, do you know?
I think it's cellular based.
Maybe that would have been back then.
It has a system auto dialer.
Yeah.
So it's
Or on a
a
possible. Yeah.
So it's 18 years old, typically 10 to 15 years. So it did the job. So I make a motion, we approve that.
Oh, sorry.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, Roadmasters report.
I saw you did Secret, looks good.
I just got a compliment on Seeger. I didn't even know you did it.
Seeger and Saucony were the two roads that we oiled and chipped with Metropolitan and Albany. We did that last week, and it really went well.
I seen one of the trucks up at Albany. Is it Albany? We're right there at Kenton.
Right at the Kenton Fire.
Is that Albany?
Yep.
Yeah, I see one of the trucks was there when I went by there. That seems to be working out well with them.
I think so, yeah. I mean, it certainly has its place. I don't want to do it all over the township, but it's definitely needed on certain roads to seal up the blacktop.
Good job.
Jen has some things listed that we just need to go over, and that's pretty much all I have. Well, I forgot to say something to Jen today. The storm that we had, the windstorm, tornado, whatever you want to call it, that went through Fleetwood, we had quite a bit of help from the Burkholder family, the guys that have the tractors, the farm off of Vine Street there that got messed up a little bit, the barn. And they spent probably 2 to 3 hours with us and the fire company to get that road cleared. And they also came back the following, it was Saturday, I think, and they cleaned up all the wood that was in their field, and they even pulled a bunch of wood out of the tree line on Vine Street there. So I want to get with Jen, and I think that it'd be nice for the township to just send them a thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you note. So
I'm good with that.
I bet you they probably spent a total of maybe 8 hours there, in total cleaning everything up. So that was a big help for us.
Good.
In addition to the mess they had in their.
Right.
barnyard.
Yeah, they got their barn fixed up and they cleaned up all the wood. They obviously had helpers, so it was a big help for us. There was we spent quite some time in that section of road.
Vine Street.
Yes.
It was a mess.
Yeah.
I drove through there at that time, not realizing what was happening. It was ugly.
Okay, so now we need reaffirm approval of the purchase of the new pressure washer. You got it?
Yep.
Good, works good?
Yep, we just used it today for the first time.
I make it. Elaine, do you have it before you go? Do you have anything? Sorry, Solar. You're here, you missed the sign-in sheet. I just wanted to check with you. But you're our eyes on the ground.
The grass, I mean, they cut the grass and stuff. There's still some trees that need attention that are like leaning over and stuff and, so yeah. So there's still stuff that has to be done.
Work in progress. We'll keep on them.
Yeah, and they still come out. They're still there in the morning. At least they're not parking their car in the street anymore. But they're out there, I guess, being security and they have a big roll-off dumpster there now. I don't know what they're doing with that, but whatever. But yeah, at least they're not in the street anymore.
All right, thanks, Elaine.
Sure, all right, see ya.
Okay, sorry, Robbie. Well, reaffirm the approval of the purchase of the new pressure washer. I make that motion. All in favor? Aye.
And that pressure washer was $1,650.
So that was less than what you thought it was gonna be?
Yes.
Yeah.
You worked your magic? Got the rate down?
You want to say that?
Good deal. Because I just thought, that's something that you guys use hard.
Right.
And we need that before we put good money after bad, or bad money after good, however you say it. Okay, reaffirm the purchase of the 2024 Ram 3500 crew cab from bid opening June 30th. Do you need that amount? Are you gonna put that amount in?
$63,432.
I make a motion that we reaffirm that.
I'll say.
All in favor? Aye. Reaffirm the approval of purchase of the body for the new truck from Frontline.
And that was for $21,781.
I'll make that motion.
I'll say.
All in favor? Aye. Y'all good?
That's all I have.
Get the truck, get the body, or got to get the body?
It's currently, the truck is at the body shop and body is currently being painted and I think we should have it within 2 to 3 weeks.
They're gonna mount it and everything's good? And then do we get rid of the other, or are we gonna put the other one up?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, Secretary Treasury Report, payment of the bills.
The general fund, we have check numbers 11,998 to 12,040, including EFTs for $275,599.90.
I'll make a motion to pay.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
State fund, there were no checks. Light fund, check number 2184 for $839.89.
I'll make a motion to pay.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Sewer fund, check numbers 3323 to 3332, including EFTs for $21,065.36.
I'll make a motion to pay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Walnut Town Fire Company, check number 2193 for $3,351.50.
Make a motion to pay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Virginville Fire Escrow, check number 2197 for $3,351.50.
I'll make a motion to pay.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
And they did an audit on our pension, on the non-uniform defined contribution pension plan, and they just need a motion to accept this in the minutes, and I can forward that on to them.
I'll make a motion that we accept.
Yeah, that was like,
All in favor?
And that's all I have.
I don't have anything else. You guys have anything else?
nor do I.
Any public participation from the floor? Yeah, make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Sure.